Let's return now to Christchurch, where a cancer sufferer has finally had a breakthrough in her years-long battle with EQC to fix ongoing problems with her earthquake-damaged home. Parts of Beverley Guy's cottage started sinking during the earthquakes, but after EQC repaired that, it kept sinking. Beverley was at her wit's end and was feeling completely overwhelmed. She was worried that her house would collapse if another quake struck before repairs could be done. But after Checkpoint got involved with her case, she has finally got some good news. She shared her story with our South Island reporter Logan Church and videographer Simon Rogers.
Beverley Guy bought the small cottage in Kainga, a stone's throw south of the Waimakariri River, shortly before the first Canterbury earthquake in September 2010.
I looked after my mum till she died, and then I wanted to go and live in the country, and this little house was for sale, so I bought it. Because it's just 10 minutes to the Palms. It's not far out of town, but it's country.
And you're right by the sea as well.
In the Waimak River, in the forest behind me.
It's nothing fancy. It has 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and plenty of outdoor shed space. Some of it was looking tired before the quakes. Bev, as she likes to be known, tells me parts of the building are likely to be almost 100 years old. And the location is beautiful. It backs onto a forestry block. The house survived the September earthquake pretty well, but come the February quake, she was inside that forestry block.
I had a bowl that I was going to put wasp bait in, and I was standing here holding it on here with the hammer, and I was going bang, 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 and I heard this tremendous bang behind me, and then me and the tree went right out there, right back, I reckon 45 degrees. When I was coming back, I looked down the road, they're all like that. Got up, all the sand there getting back to my house was like moving like a boiling type of thing. I just hung on to the post. The water tank on top of my house was just flying everywhere, and the pool, the water's going everywhere.
And her cottage suffered damage, serious damage.
That floor went down, the lounge floor went down facing north. It also went down facing south, and also the bathroom and toilet area, the laundry, that went down as well. In one corner.
Bev reported the damage to EQC and they responded relatively quickly.
Well, I put in a claim for the house to be fixed, and some people came out and did it. I was one of the first people to be done.
But things started going amiss straight away.
They were not supposed to touch the kitchen. It sloped down quite a lot, but it was not earthquake damage, and I made sure they knew it. It was not earthquake damage. I'm not asking for that to be fixed.
It was pre-existing damage.
Yeah. So, anyway, they came out, and the first thing they did was lift up the kitchen, which made an 11-centimetre bump in the middle of the house. And it was very obvious when you walk down, and it still is, quite a slope. So some guys came back, cut a hole in the floor, did something under there, and they got it 2 centimetres down.
In the end, new piles were put in and the areas that were sinking were re-levelled. Until...
When they raised the house, there was quite a gap. So I put bricks along so my puppies could get in there. And they've actually fitted under the house. And then I thought, no, I'm pulling them out just in case the house does sink. And then I won't have my bricks. Within 2 weeks, it had dropped.
On closer inspection, we can see that this part of the house, the lounge, is sitting below the top of those bricks, which were initially placed under her house. But for Bev, going back to EQC at this time was something she could not bear.
Since my son ended his life, and I've become very unwell from that, so I didn't want to cope with it. I couldn't cope with anything else. And then EQC rang me up and asked me why I hadn't paid my $400 excess. So I told them I wasn't paying them anything. They were not getting any money out of me because my house was worse, and they better come and fix it.
That $400 excess covers the earthquake insurance from 2010 and 2011, where a bit more than $15,500 was spent trying to fix the house up. She received that phone call and a letter from EQC requesting payment in 2016. Since then, Bev and a few supporters have been trying to work with EQC to try and figure out what it will take and cost to get the place fixed. But no settlement had been reached, and it was starting to take its toll. After Bev's son, Quentin, committed suicide, she developed leukemia. She is also bipolar, which she has to manage with medication.
This leukemia may not kill me, but it's actually damaging my organs and everything all the time. Have very low immune system and chronic fatigue. It gets really hard to do anything, let alone paperwork and phone calls to people like this.
But Bev is only one of thousands of people who still have open claims with EQC. As of February this year, 2,123 people had outstanding claims with the organisation. And claims are still coming into EQC. In that same month, February 2019, 641 claims were closed. However, another 444 were opened or reopened. So we went to EQC to try and figure out where things are at. We interviewed Beverley last Friday and went to EQC the same day to request an interview. EQC called me on Monday, confirming an interview with its Deputy Chief Executive Renee Walker for later that day. But as we were driving to that interview, Bev contacted us. She said EQC had just offered her two settlement options, $34,000 with the option of going back for more if more repairs were needed, or a lump sum of $50,000. After 8.5 years of battling, Bev had her settlement. In our interview, Ms. Walker told us when she heard about Bev's case, she worked with the case manager to figure out what could be done.
My suggestion was that we look to settle at an amount that allows Beverley to deal with all of those unknowns. So we have two options. We pay the $34,000 and get quotes for everything else, or we settle at an amount that recognises that there is some risk and some additional damage to be allowed for. So today we have spoken both to Beverley's support person and directly to Beverley and made an offer to settle that outstanding damage along with the accommodation, and Beverley is happy with that offer, so that money will be paid to her and in her account within the next couple of days.
This is fantastic news for Bev, but it does beg the question. Please excuse me for being cynical, but why has it taken a call from a media organisation to get this rolling?
Good question. I think it's highlighted to us that we need to look for another option. I think we were working within a system that we thought was serving Beverley, and actually your call shows that perhaps it wasn't working for her, because if she felt that she needed to come to you, it clearly hasn't been working for her. I think it put extra priority for everyone on finding that solution for her. So I haven't spent the day reflecting on why. I think the best thing is that there is a good outcome for her, and as I say, perhaps it's about looking at whether the system is working or not working for people in Beverley's situation.
There is still some way to go for Bev. She still has to arrange to get the work done. But she can do that now with some semblance of financial security, including funding for accommodation while the work is done. After 8.5 years, she can now move on. In Christchurch, for Checkpoint, Logan Church.